This is Inside Badger Football with head coach Trey Shucker. Inside Badger Football is brought to you by the Arkadelphia Alliance and Chamber of Commerce, ATO Automotive, Batson Signs, Bell Wealth Services, Blakelytown, Chad Kesterson Shelter Insurance, Chicken Express, Citizens Bank, Domino's, Eccles, Thompson and Kneebone CPA, Doctors Gary and Rob Rucker, Knight Insurance Professionals, L&J Auto Sales, Ludwig's Bakery, Park Hill Baptist Church, Patterson Federal Credit Union, Print Mania, Providence Veterinary Care, Roger Wingfield State Farm, Scott Bird DDS, The Sexton Firm, South Central Connect, Southern Bancorp, Southwest Auto Collection, Taylor King Law, Tea Time Sims, Trinity Temple Assembly of God, Turner, Rogers, Manning and Plyler CPA, Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation, and Welch Funeral Home. The host of Inside Badger Football is Cooper Darr.
Welcome back to Inside Badger Football. Joining me, as always, head coach of the Arkadelphia Badgers, Trey Shucker. How are you, Coach?
Doing great. Had a good win Friday night and ready to get into the playoffs.
Yes, sir. It is playoff time, but let's talk about that win from last Friday. It was a rivalry win, and the Ouachita River Rumble, Coach, that belt came back home, didn't it?
It sure did, and it's got Arkadelphia written on there quite a bit.
There it is. It's right here. So here is the Malvern versus Arkadelphia belt. It has come back home once again, and I was looking at it just a little bit earlier. It says Arkadelphia, Malvern, Arkadelphia. Seems Arkadelphia has won a lot of these. Coach, let's talk about this past Friday as I put my belt, the Badger belt right here. I guess you can call it the Ouachita River Rumble belt, but also you can call it just the Badger belt too.
I like that.
But Coach, let's talk about this win from this past week. Senior night, it was a big game. Talk about it.
It was. Senior night in Badger Stadium, crowd was phenomenal. Everybody's in great spirits. Obviously, the last regular season game in Badger Stadium, and then on top of that, getting to play Malvern. Anytime that we get together and play Malvern, it's a big game and it's a hard-fought game. But our kids came out with a lot of energy and a lot of excitement, and it really translated into really good performance.
Coach, there were so many people at that game this past week. I mean, the stands were overflowing, and people were standing all around, and it was a fun game to be at. Coach, talk about the belt for a second. We have it right here. Obviously, it's shining gold right here. So talk about how important just the sponsor is and just everything about the game.
Yeah, well, it represents so much. It represents the rivalry between Arkadelphia and Malvern. Two schools that are right up the road from each other. A lot of years past, recent years, that this game has really come down to, the 1 and 2 seed in the conference, which comes with some really good playoff implications and home seed and all that. So there's a lot that has been put on this game in recent years, and it means a lot. And this year was no different. Just getting together, and it really comes down to a lot when it comes down to the seeding going into the playoffs.
Yeah. Coach, all three phases were once again firing at all cylinders this past week. Offense, defense, special teams. Had another special teams touchdown by the same guy. So we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But Coach, talk about your offense. They handled business on Friday.
We did. We saw some extra guys on the field, some guys that got to get some really good quality reps and start the game for us, and they handled that really, really well. And that's kind of the message to the team was everybody on the team has played a full season now. And so everybody on the team at this point knows what to do and should be able to go out on the field and play with confidence, and you saw that out of our guys on Friday.
Coach, your defense played dominant as well. They had to adjust in some areas as well, but talk about just how adjustments still being dominant in a football game.
Yeah, obviously we have a plan going in against every opponent, and then throughout the game, we realize what our opponent's plan was for us. And so defensively, we've got to make adjustments every week, and our guys do a really good job of that. Our coaches do a phenomenal job of getting our guys in position to make plays, and I thought our guys did that.
Well, it was a fun rivalry win. Let's go ahead and watch the highlights from this past week. So it was a fun one. Pretty high scoring as well. Got the mercy rule there in the second half. The clock was running there for the fourth quarter. Coach, let's talk about this first play, this first touchdown. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Orion Roberts, they kicked it right to him, and he's done this a couple times this year. We've seen Orion have some really good returns and kickoff return and punt returns. But what a way to start off the game. Really set the tone for the rest of the game. Our guys really fed off of that.
Coach, your offense, Bryce Meekin coming out, and he was delivering the ball to this one special guy that we just got to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about Jason Moss right there.
Jason Moss, he was one of the ones I was talking about, hadn't gotten a lot of reps in the games coming up to this point, but had a really good JV season. This is his first year with us, transferred from us from Texarkana back in the summer. His family moved here, and he's been able to learn our system and progress every week, and he's just playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Coach, with a running back like Caden Whitaker, it was hard to get him down this past Friday. No one could tackle him. He had multiple guys on him at several times trying to get him down, but he just kept running his feet. Talk about just his running ability and really his strength.
He's a guy that knows where the ball needs to go. Every run is a different scheme, but he does a really good job getting to his aiming point, keeping low pad level, and just a strong runner. The last one that we just saw was Q Morris. We got in our heavy package down there on the goal line, and our heavy package is tough to stop when we get that close.
Coach, right here, getting the ball back and sending the offense back onto the field, getting turnovers, making special plays. Talk about that, Coach.
Yeah, it was encouraging to see all the turnovers that we were able to create on defense. We had an interception earlier, and then we were able to punch the ball out on that last play. But being able to create those turnovers this time of the year is really good, because we've struggled at times to do that, and so it's really encouraging to see that we're starting to create some more turnovers than we have in weeks up to this point.
Coach, explosives. I know we talk about it almost every single week, but explosives on offense just make a huge difference in a football game and really can decide some football games. Talk about this one right here.
Yeah.
This was an explosive, huge catch by Jason Moss from Meekin.
No doubt. Meekin put a big ball over the top, and actually a Malvern defender got a hand on it. But Jason's able to focus and lock in on the ball and catches the ball off the tip. And so it's not always pretty, but when the ball bounces our way, we've got to run with it. So happy that was able to happen and we were able to execute.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome to see Moss, really Moss the Leopards right there.
That's right.
Came over the top and hit the hands. I mean, we just keep seeing it get replayed right here.
Yeah.
But Jason Moss mossing the Malvern Leopards. So
Yeah.
Always fun to see. Let's talk about this defensive play. Coach, your defensive ends felt like they were on a different game tonight.
We did.
Skylar McClure, Xavier Williams. You also had some different rotations in
That's
there.
right, and we got stronger as the game got going, and that's the way we want to play. We want to keep getting stronger as the game progresses, and as we get deeper through the game. We want to keep flying to the football. We want to be physical tacklers, and that when you're play defense that way, you can wear out the other team really quickly.
Coach, here's a little counter play right here. Your right guard, right tackle, pulling across to the left side. Your offensive line had a good game as well.
They did.
I mean, they were blocking their butts off. Talk about getting down the field, making long blocks to receive longer plays.
Yeah, they did a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage in the run and pass game. Gave our quarterback time to throw the ball. Receivers did a great job of getting open using speed, and our running backs, I know we've talked about Whitaker being able to get to his aiming point in the run game, whatever the run is, and getting vertical and breaking tackles, and it all comes together. It starts up front, and then everybody else has got to do their job to make it execute, but it all starts up front, and our front line had a great game.
Coach, another touchdown from Jason Moss. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so Jason, he's doing what he does best. He's playing fast and just making plays. He's got some really good hands. And like I said, he's progressed so much over the course of the season with learning our plays and getting comfortable in our system. The speed part of it, that's just him. Being able to catch the ball really well and being able to focus on it, that's him. And, he's just being the player that he is.
Coach, this kickoff, talk about it. I mean, we saw it right there in that play. But you had all of the guys running down the field and just collapsing this pocket.
Yeah.
Talk about how important that is in practice and how important special teams is, especially in practice, mimicking it for a game.
It is. Coach Chandler, our special teams coordinator, does a great job of our scheme and getting the right players in position to make the plays and to have a really good, effective special teams unit. And I think it all starts on special teams. You create the field position for whatever unit it is, offense or defense, to go out on the field to be successful. And the field position battle is huge. People don't take advantage of it enough. And when you can do create good field position, create explosive plays, just like what you're seeing on the screen, having a really good return, creating positive field position is huge. Allows your offense to go out and execute. You don't have to run as many plays to go score.
I said this on the webcast this past week on the broadcast, but it just seems like teams keep kicking to Orion Roberts, and he has a very high likely chance of getting 20-plus yards and maybe even a touchdown.
Yeah.
Just the positioning for Orion to be in the right place at the right time, that's the right coaching as well. But him catching that ball, special teams, let's talk about Orion.
Yeah, Orion, he's just an explosive returner, and he's been able to create 6 or 7 touchdowns this season through our special teams. And then, it really puts defenses at a disadvantage because Cam Archer, our other returner, is just as good. He's been able to return 3 or 4 touchdowns back. And so teams have to make a decision on whether they're going to kick it to them or, if they're going to – yeah, there's Orion again making a big play on a return. But whether they're going to kick it to one of them or if they're going to kick it out of bounds or find somebody else to kick to, either way, you're going to create good field position.
Coach, we saw all different kinds of points, offensive touchdowns, special teams touchdowns, but also a safety. Points, no matter what size, are important to the end of the game. That defensive play we just saw right there, Xavier Williams getting a huge sack. Talk about just this defensive line once again getting to this quarterback.
Yeah, X-Man, he's just a special player. Plays with so much speed, plays with a high motor, plays with a lot of energy, and that's what you see at the end of that is all the energy and excitement that he plays with. But he's just such a great player. I think he's leading us in tackles right now on defense, but the rest of the defense feed off of that. We want to play with a lot of energy, and we want to play with a high motor, and he definitely represents that.
All right, Coach, let's watch this play. Let's talk through it. What are you seeing here? We had a good route there. I'm not necessarily a defensive back guy, but kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, so we had actually had a stunt blitz called, and so that's actually a safety. He's a backup safety that came in and actually played with a lot of confidence and played really well. And he comes down, understands what his job is on that specific defensive play, and is right in good position and makes a play on the ball.
Coach, the Badgers took captive of every opportunity. There's a punt that Malvern is having to do in their own end zone, but Arkadelphia still taking just every single moment captive.
That's right. If we're on the field playing, it's an opportunity to execute. And then through those executions, that's when those big plays happen. Just because the score is what it is, we're not going to let off steam. We were going to force the other team to play perfect, and we're trying to do the same. And when that happens, big plays happen.
All right, another punt return. I'd like to see the stat on punt return yards gained. Great field positioning for the offense.
Yeah.
Talk about your offense coming out, having great field position really almost every single possession.
Yeah, and that's huge. It allows you to be able to put up points quickly if you can go out and execute on offense because you're starting with such good field position. You don't have to go as far. You get into field goal range really quickly if you do stall out. So there's a lot of opportunity to where a lot of things can go really positive when you start off with a really good field position. And it all starts with the execution from the special teams returns.
Good field position once again right here on a fake punt over there to the left. Good field position for the offense. with this possession. We then send it to the mercy roll in the fourth quarter. Coach, it was good getting some of those young guys back in there for a rivalry game.
Yeah.
Coach, talk about how important that is.
It always is. Anytime that we have the opportunity to get a rotation in and get some of the other guys in, that's what we want to do, especially on a senior night where we've got some seniors that aren't part of the starting lineup. And so getting those seniors on the field and giving them an opportunity to play in the senior night and be a part of a rivalry game is huge.
Yeah, it's always fun to get all the guys in there supporting each other as well. Coach, let's talk about the players of the game from this past week. Let's start off with offense, and I think they can guess this one. Jason Moss.
Jason Moss had 3 catches for 108 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just had a huge night. His first time to get to start for us. He's such a great kid. He's always smiling and he's always positive and he's always wanting to get better and asking what he can do to get better. And, throughout the weeks, he's gotten so much better and he was able to go out and perform the way he did.
All right, let's move on to the defensive player of the game, and that is Quintavious Morris.
Yeah, Q Morris, he's one of our best players on defense, plays outside linebacker. He's a senior, had a phenomenal game, just a force on defense. He's one of our best tacklers and hardest hitters. Just a great job throughout the whole game.
All right. Special
he also
teams.
had a punt block.
Oh, yeah. He can do everything.
Yeah.
He can do everything. Coach, special teams player of the week.
Yeah, special teams player of the week, Orion Roberts. We were talking about all the returns. Orion had a lot of those, put us in really good field position. I don't remember how many yards he had specifically on his returns, but he's able to put up points to start it off the game. Really set the tone for the rest of the game. Orion Roberts, he's done it 6-7 times this year, returning a kickoff return or a punt return for a touchdown, and just such a good player for us.
All right, the Badger Spirit Award winner. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Badger Spirit Award winner this week is Joe Chandler, our linebackers coach and special teams coordinator. It's his little brother. His little brother moved here from California back in the summer, and he's been with us ever since. And this is his first year with us. He helps us out and creates a positive attitude around our program. And we're very happy and fortunate to have him around.
All right, let's look at the results from this past week. It was the end of conference play. So, Coach, let's look at it real quick. Arkadelphia winning 53, Malvern 21. Bauxite 33, Haskell Harmony Grove 7. Nashville 56, Genoa Central 0. And Fountain Lake 49, Ashdown 31. Let's look at the standings. Let's see who is going to the playoffs out of the 4A7, where that line is. We're taking the top 5 and up. So we got Nashville, Arkadelphia, Bauxite, Fountain Lake, and Malvern. They will all be playing this week. So let's see who they are playing this week. Let's look around the entire 4A. We got 4A3 teams in here, 4A4, 4A7. You got South Arkansas. You got some Central. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So Pocahontas will be traveling to the 4A7's Nashville. They're in our conference. Highland will be at Arkadelphia this week. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. Ozark will be traveling to Bauxite this week. Fountain Lake will be at Clinton, and Malvern will be at the number 1 seed in the 4A4 Dardanelle spot. Whoever is the winner of the Arkadelphia Highland games and the Fountain Lake Clinton games, they will be playing each other in the second round. But Coach, let's talk about it. It is time for this belt to go back into the trophy room. It's time that we're going to talk about that next year. Okay, we can look at it, we can ooh and ah at it, but now it is time for playoff football for what really matters most. You win, you advance. You lose, it stops right there.
That's exactly right.
You look on to next season. You look at spring ball. But, Coach, we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about Highland football. Highland's coming into town. It's going to be a fun one. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Highland coming out of that Northern Conference. It's the first meeting of the schools. We've never gotten the opportunity to play Highland, so we're excited about that opportunity. We're excited about getting to play in Badger Stadium again. And then it's playoff time. The message to the team and what it will be every week is it doesn't matter who our opponent is. It doesn't matter what the record is. Doesn't matter what seed they are. We've got to be the best team on Friday night. We've got to go execute, and we've got to keep progressing. If we're still playing football, we've got an opportunity to get better and keep getting better. And so that's the mentality every day in practice, is to show up with a mentality to get better and to be prepared. And we want to be more prepared than our opponent every week.
The expectation is to have 5 more weeks of
That's
football,
right.
not just one.
One week at a time.
Not one, not two. I mean, but,
Yeah.
getting to 5 more weeks of
That's
football.
right.
But, Coach, we are hosting Highland this week. It's going to be a fun one. It is at home, Arkadelphia playing Highland. And it is the first round of the playoffs, okay? So it's going to be fun. Be there. Arkadelphia Badgers always know how to travel, but also the home games are pretty electric as well. So, Coach, if you can't, watch from the stadium, they need to watch from the broadcast,
That's right.
which you can watch at ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com with the pregame show starting at 6:30. But it is going to be a fun one. It's going to be a fun one. First round of the playoffs. So I think that's all we got, Coach.
All right.
All right.
Go Badgers.
Inside Badger Football is brought to you by the Arkadelphia Alliance and Chamber of Commerce, ATO Automotive, Batson Signs, Bell Wealth Services, Blakelytown, Chad Kesterson Shelter Insurance, Chicken Express, Citizens Bank, Domino's, Eccles, Thompson and Kneebone CPA, Doctors Gary and Rob Rucker, Knight Insurance Professionals, L&J Auto Sales, Ludwig's Bakery, Park Hill Baptist Church, Patterson Federal Credit Union, Print Mania, Providence Veterinary Care, Roger Wingfield State Farm, Scott Bird DDS, The Sexton Firm, South Central Connect, Southern Bancorp, Southwest Auto Collection, Taylor King Law, Tea Time Sims, Trinity Temple Assembly of God, Turner, Rogers, Manning and Plyler CPA, Twin Rivers Health and Rehabilitation, and Welch Funeral Home. Inside Badger Football is a production of the Washita Sports Digital Network, the student sports media program housed in the Rogers Department of Communications at Washita Baptist University.